All right, well, it's Thursday of Easter week. Tomorrow is the day we celebrate as the church, Good Friday, the death of Jesus Christ, and then eventually this weekend, Easter, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Let me point out something to you today, though, to think about. The book of Luke is interesting because the book of Luke takes 2 chapters to focus on 12 years of Jesus' life. It's not a lot. Then it takes 16 chapters to focus on the final 3 years of his life. It's slowing down now, right? Then it takes 6 chapters to talk about the final 7 days of his life, and then 2 chapters that talk about the final 24 hours. What Luke is doing is he's speeding through, and as he gets closer to the crucifixion and the resurrection, it's slowing down, almost frame by frame, where you're getting a more up close and personal look at the life of Jesus. And the reason for this is every breath that Jesus took was all aimed towards the cross. Every move he made, everything he did was all aimed to get him to the cross. So now in Luke 23, he's on the cross. He's breathing his last, and we hear a story about him and 2 criminals hung by him. And here's what these 5 verses tell us. 2 others who were criminals were led away to be put to death with him. One of the criminals who were hanged railed at him, saying, "Are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us." But the other criminal rebuked him, saying, "Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we are receiving the due reward for our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong." And he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And Jesus said to him, "Truly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." Often we ask ourselves, how do I know that God is working in my life? I've asked myself that. How do I know that He's working in me? How do I know that this is working, that prayer is working, and church is working, and reading the Bible? How do I know that He's actually working in my life? And I think we see it here. We see it in the second criminal. We see it in verse 41. "And we are receiving the due reward of our deeds." He confessed his guilt. Do you as a Christian confess your guilt? Confess your sin to Jesus? When you do, that's a sign that God is working. The second criminal also recognized Jesus' righteousness. He said, "This man has done nothing wrong." He recognized the righteousness of Jesus. Do you recognize, Christian? Do you recognize not only your sin, but the perfect righteousness of Jesus Christ? If so, God is working in your life. The second criminal, he sought mercy. He said, "Jesus, remember me." Do you as a Christian seek out the mercy of Jesus Christ? If so, that's a sign that God is working in you. The second criminal confessed Jesus' lordship, His kingship. He said, "When you come into your kingdom, remember me." He's acknowledging that Jesus is a king. Do you? Do you acknowledge that Jesus has the ability to be the Lord and the King of your life, to actually tell you how to live? And then also, He gives gospel hope. Jesus says, "Today you will be with me." How do we know God is working in our life? Do you confess your sin? Do you acknowledge the righteousness of Jesus? Acknowledge the kingship of Jesus in your life? You have gospel hope today, Christian. Today you will be with me in paradise, He says to the criminal. And to you, who God is working in your life, He says the same thing to you. Good Friday is tomorrow. Look forward to celebrating with you here at Crosspoint Church.